Starting. Now we are live.
Now we're live. It's too late.
So we're real professionals here.
Off to a rough start.
Welcome to
the Bill O'Reilly thing where he's like, "We'll do it live. We'll do it live."
Oh.
So welcome to AppBuilder Office Hours, the very professionally run event here at Telerik. I am TJ VanToll, and you know that because we figured out how to use the Hangout extension here so that it actually shows my name at the bottom of the screen. And I am joined by my colleagues Burke Holland and Jen Looper. And today we're going to talk about Cordova plugins, which is an interesting topic. The idea behind this Office Hours show, we want to encourage you to ask any questions that you may have. Hangouts has this little Q&A feature that you'll find where you can any questions that you ask, we'll try to answer live as part of this event. So what's the first thing on the agenda, Burke?
Well, I would like to know why it looks like a claw machine vomited in your room.
It's to entertain you.
It is entertaining.
I have a lot of stuffed animals. So I have 2 young kids, and then I also have a bunch of stuffed animals, and so I've kind of got this revolving door to keep people entertained.
You know what's funny is when TJ first started working here, he didn't have, back in that corner was empty and there was like a bag of Cheetos up there. That was the only thing there. And then every time I talked to him, there would be an additional stuffed animal until you have what we have now, which is essentially like a garage sale waiting to happen. Yeah,
well, the thing is, my background is just downright creepy when there's nothing there. It's kind of like you don't know where I am, or there's just these weird shelves. So So it looks a little more legit. You don't question, like, where am I? You're more just drawn to the stuffed animals.
I picture you as, like, in the basement of, like, a mini storage or a liquor store, or, you know.
Oh, no, I think he's in
check cashing. Yeah, that's his bedroom. Sorry, let's get back. So, on the agenda, we are going to talk about plugins, but before we do that, let's talk about something that's pretty cool that Telerik's doing right now, and that is the Dynissimo app opportunity for developers. So TJ's got this up on his screen here, and what this is a chance for developers to go out and to run an application and make a small modification in the app, get it on your device, and then we're going to send you an Amazon gift card. It's that easy. And so we're going to walk you through the steps. So you just click that Run Your App button, and it'll walk you through logging into the platform. It'll walk you through launching that app up, and it's going to take you roughly 5 minutes, maybe less, and it'll be the easiest $5 you have ever made, as the page says.
Yep, and it's pretty easy to Google. If you just Google Telerik platform Amazon card, you'll find it. The URL is a little bit long, so I just recommend everybody Google it, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward way to get $5 on Amazon.
Yep, and also a really good way to see how an application is put together on the Telerik platform, and it's a restaurant application, so it's fairly sizable. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, so definitely check that out.
Yep.
Next on the agenda is to get directly into the Cordova plugins and explain exactly what a Cordova plugin is before we launch into looking at a couple of them. So, TJ?
Yep. So this show is about Cordova plugins. So I want to give a brief introduction of just what these things are. And personally, I like to think of Cordova itself as really 2 things. The first is this packaging mechanism. So a way of taking your web code and essentially making it a native app. The other is this bridge that acts between JavaScript code running in a web view on your device and native code. So Objective-C, Swift, Java, C#, whatever the platform's APIs are written in, all of these platforms provide a way for you to access those functionalities. And so that's actually at the platform level itself. So there's an Objective-C API that lets you, from a web view, access native iOS APIs. What Cordova has this abstracted API. So it says, here's a way you can write a plugin and let you transfer information back and forth from JavaScript running in your web view and the native layer. And so you can do things like describe how arguments go back and forth. So maybe you have a plugin that accepts a few different parameters. You can write this translation layer to say how those end up going to the native code and what to do with that sort of thing. And so all of the Cordova plugins that we're going to look at, and in fact all of the core Cordova plugins, so things like the camera API, are all written using this same mechanism. And this is something that you can write your own. If you want to write a Cordova, PhoneGap, and AppBuilder app, and you want to access some native API, some API that you need for your app, there's a well-documented mechanism that you can use to do it. And the plugins that we'll be looking at today follow those same guidelines.
So if I understand that, what you just said correctly, that would, if I could just sum that up, it would be that you can call any Objective-C method from JavaScript.
Yeah, more or less. Yep.
Through this one door, you can call into that door and say, hey, on the other side, can you please execute this Objective-C? And then you can write your own Objective-C, stuff it in there, and thus add native functionality to your app.
Yep, exactly.
Very cool. Okay. Let's talk about how we actually install plugins. I think that would be the next question because the description sounds super complicated. So, Jen.
All right. Well, installing these plugins is extremely easy and straightforward, and it's actually a real pleasure to do. And I was just going to demo a couple of them do it. The first way is to go into our platform. Let me see if I can share my screen like this. Share, sorry. Okay. So here we have a project that I've okay, here it is. I have built this Sweet Quizzes sample app. And on here, you see on the right, properties. So I would double click. And it brings up this screen. Click on plugins. And you see all of these interesting plugins here. You see some core plugins like the camera and the battery, contacts, all of these goodies that you can actually deinstall if you don't want to have any kind of extra things in your app. Those are already mostly installed by default. Then you scroll down to other plugins, and it gets very interesting because, let's see if I can expand this a little. For example, we have a barcode scanner, and everything from our plugins marketplace is listed here. So you could say, okay, for Sweet Quizzes, for this app, I want the barcode scanner. I'm just going to click this. Install. Click the barcode scanner, click install, installed. And you can see that it was installed because there is a green check mark there. So it's very
and you can install any plugin from that list in that same way?
Yes.
Very interesting.
Get more information from here. And then you can also do it from the CLI, the command line interface here. So here I have, let's see, I guess I have to reshare my screen.
So what you're showing there was the in-browser client for AppBuilder, right? Yeah. And then.
Yes. Okay, so here we go into. If you want to be developing an app locally, can you see my? Sorry. My screen share. Oh, here it is. Okay. So here you can install.
There we go. I like your terminal theme. That's nice. Playful color.
Very basic.
Minimalistic.
So, yeah, very basic. So I have created an app using my local install of AppBuilder, and this is the command line interface. And it's a little amazing how easy it is to install plugins here. So if I just make sure what directory I'm in a new app called Barcode. I'm going to go ahead and do the same kind of install here. I'm going to go back to the plugins marketplace and look for the barcode scanner plugin, and we're going to talk about the marketplace in just a second. But there are instructions here on how to install using the CLI. I'm just going to copy this, and here all I have to do is say fetch that plugin and install that sucker, and there it is. So
very cool. And so as a follow-up for this, do you want to show, like, bring the plugins marketplace over on your screen so people can see where you're getting this from?
Yeah.
I think the next question I think people want to know is, okay, so there's these plugins that you can install, but where basically do I get these plugins from? Where can I find them?
Exactly. Before I do that, I just want to show that in my plugins folder on my local project, you can see that I have 3 plugins installed. The one I just installed, Barcode Scanner. Also, I have the AdMob and the Social Sharing plugin installed, and we're going to talk about those in a little bit. Let me shuffle my...
Somebody's asking, what is the difference between a core plugin and the other plugins? Why is there 2 sections?
TJ, you want to talk about that while I shuffle my screens?
Yeah, sure. So core plugins are the ones that are actually maintained by basically the Cordova project, which is an open source project. And I think there's 17 or 18 of them. Now, there was a big change in the Cordova world as of Cordova 3.0 in that the core plugins used to be kind of bundled together. There was this core package of Cordova. 3.0 split them out. So these core plugins are written the same way that custom plugins are. It's the same mechanism. The only difference is that they're considered basically officially maintained by the Cordova project.
So do you have to have all those plugins in order to build a Cordova project, or could you go through and just disable all of them? And what's the benefit of doing that?
So you could go through and disable all of them, and it's recommended that you do so at around the time that you're getting ready to deploy your app. It'll make your app a little bit smaller, I mean marginally, to include less plugins. AppBuilder actually, as part of the build that AppBuilder does, it'll basically sequentially install these plugins. So by disabling plugins, you can also speed up your build times a little bit to just check off the ones that you don't need. So by default, when you start a new AppBuilder project, you get all of them just as a developer convenience so that they're all there. And it's fine to leave that in place during development. It's just something that you might want to take a look at when you're getting ready to, say, get your deployment build out ready for the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
So,
all right, Jen, take us to the plugins marketplace.
Okay, so here we have the barcode scanner pulled up on the plugins marketplace, but I'll go back to the home page here. We have a very, very fine verified plugin marketplace that's curated by Telerik, and I like to just periodically go in here and see what goodies have been deployed by our plugin engineers. So I click on recent, and it looks like the newest one is called Insomnia. That sounds interesting. I might want to try that. I have an app that allows kids to play musical instruments and it would be and record while they're playing. So Insomnia would be perfect. You can stop the screen from dimming and keep recording. We've got all kinds of good stuff here. And you can also...
There's a Firebase plugin now.
Yeah, for sure. Some of them have little green flags that they're Telerik plugins, so these are specifically developed with in a partnership with the company, I believe. Like the Estimote plugin, those are these little iBeacons. I think that we worked together with Estimote to get that launched. There's just a lot of really awesome stuff in the URL.
Did you use that plugin when you did your article on the Estimotes, Jen?
Yep, I did. So there is on the Telerik Developer Network, there's an article on, it actually combines 2 plugins. It's because I can't do things in halves. So it uses Estimotes to find a book and then the barcode scanner to scan the book and get the ISBN. And we'll talk a little bit more about the barcode scanning plugin in a little while. There's just a lot of good stuff in here. You can sort by platform. If you're only targeting Windows Phone, for example, you might want to, just look at the plugins that are available for that. These are for Windows Phone. And there's quite a lot of good stuff there.
I noticed that you can actually submit your own plugin.
Yes. So the 2 interesting parts to this page are that you can suggest a plugin. For example, if we might be missing a plugin that you know is good and useful and that we could take a look at, you can click this Let Us Know button and fill out the form to recommend a plugin. But if you're a developer of a plugin and you want us to list your plugins, then you could submit your plugin here, and we'll take a good look at it and see if it's appropriate for our marketplace.
Yeah, and could you go back to and click on the Let Us Know, basically the other button on the page up there. Yeah, what I think is cool about this is, like, if you're going to build a hybrid app and there's basically some native functionality that you need and you're having trouble finding a Cordova plugin out there, it can be kind of tricky to write a Cordova plugin because you do have to at least a little bit delve into the native world. You have to know just a touch of iOS, Android, or Windows Phone to get the plugin written. So this is a great way where if you need some functionality, come in here and vote. if you need background process, it looks like that's the top of the list. Go in and chime in, add your votes, tell us why you need it, and we'll try to make sure that the ones that get highly voted up here, that we can get those available in our marketplace.
I wonder if that background process plugin is this Insomnia one that's listed as completed. So.
I think the background process one is one that is being worked on by some anonymous. I know. I know from talking to it's Ryan and I forget his name now. He's gonna kill me too. It's not Eddie.
Oh, Mahfouz?
No, not Mahfouz. His name slips my mind, of course, because I need to remember it. But at the hackathon, they had come up with a way to actually run processes in the background for up to 3 minutes. So you could actually put your phone to sleep, and then it would just continue to run in the background. Like you could run JavaScript while your phone was seemingly asleep for the next 3 minutes.
Oh, and this seemed to have to also do like uploading files, so you can just like process and it would just go, and then you don't have to worry about.
Yes.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that in-app purchase is a hot topic here. If anybody wants to vote for in-app purchase, please upvote this guy. Plug.
Jen needs to monetize some apps. Somebody needs to build an in-app purchase plugin.
So,
well, do we want to get to looking at one of these plugins?
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of monetization, for a segue here, we wanted to show some specific examples of these plugins, more or less how. So you see these plugins on the list. How do you get them in your app? What do they look like? How do they use them? So we have a few apps or a few plugins that we picked out that we want to show off. And I think Jen's going to go first with showing AdMob. Is that right?
Yeah. So so AdMob is an ad platform that is kind of standard. You almost have to have it in a free app if you want to get any kind of little change out of your app. And it gives you a little banner ad or an interstitial. The banner can be top or bottom. You need to go to AdMob and set up an app. Set up your app as with an ID so that you can pull that into your code base. So I'm not going to show all that personal information of my own. I'm just going to go ahead and show. I'm going to show the ad in action, what it looks like. If you just give me.
Yeah, and we can.
I'm going to try to show. This done. Okay, let me share my screen. Here it is. Share. All right. Let me just pull that down. So this is a recent app that I deployed on the Telerik platform. Oh, I like the ad. It's called Woot. You can see at the bottom here the ad just kind of cycles. In AdMob, you can customize your ad a little bit, give a different color background, customize the colors definitely, and you can also customize the content. In my apps, I don't like to have like questionable content in any way, dating stuff. You can also connect AdMob to other ad networks and get a more interesting mix of ads. So, but it's kind of interesting because this is a Christmas app. I'm getting all these ads for Christmas trees. It's kind of amazing. So Google's pretty smart that way.
Can you buy Christmas trees online?
I guess so. Balsam Hill. I don't know.
Free shipping, so I would guess so.
I'm not on commission, guys.
Oh my gosh, you can buy anything online.
I know. It's interesting. I'll tell you. I think it's here to stay.
I'm going to buy one just to do it, just so I can say, I bought that tree, I bought that sucker online.
Actually, before I close my screen, you could just see how I changed the color to a yellow to try to catch more eyeballs. That's the AdMob plugin in action, and I will just show how the code looks, I guess. It's very, very simple. What I did last time, you install your plugin, you say, okay, I need AdMob, I bring it into my app, and then you just add a little bit of snippet here. Let me screen share one more time. And this is a very basic app that I have called Bottle, and I just have a function here. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Called getAb, and it just has add. I'm going to create a banner view from AdMob, and it's just this much code right here. Just this function will allow you to serve an ad. All you have to do is change your publisher ID to the ID that you create in AdMob itself, which I stripped down because I don't want to give that away. But I make heavy use of plugins. Here's the barcode scanning plugin. Here's the AdMob plugin. Here is 3 functions of the social sharing plugin, like slapped all over the code here, and ready to roll. I love these things. I think they're fantastic, and they totally add a ton of functionality to your app without a huge amount of effort on your part. So
Very nice.
Very cool.
Well, going off of that, I'm going to jump right in, and I want to show you guys something that I was working on yesterday that I added a plugin to. So I'm going to share. Inception, and then hopefully we'll move on. So boom, let's present to everyone. Sorry, are we good?
Wars.
Did
Yeah.
you see that? That was
We got a little Star
crazy,
Wars for a
man.
second, but I think we're good. I see you.
Leonardo's going to come out and spin that little top. I'm going to wait for it to see if it falls over. So this was an app that I put together yesterday, and this uses, what it does is it returns just a random GIF from the Giphy API. That's all it does. And it's called Random GIF. And it uses the new hotness from Kendo UI Mobile, which is the Angular integration. So I've declared the mobile application. I've got a view here, a nav bar, a title. There's a button which goes out and gets the random GIF. You can see that here. And then this is where the GIF is displayed. And then I wrote this little directive that just fires an event when the GIF is loaded so that I can show and hide a spinner. So let me show you what this actually looks like when we run it. I'll run it on an iPhone. You guys can see my simulator okay here?
Yep.
Okay. Don't fail me now, Giphy API. Come on. All right, so right now I'm pulling back just GIFs of cats here, but we can actually change this, and we can pull back different GIFs. So I can go and change it to, like, if we wanted to say, instead of cats, we want to see pugs, we can change that. And then it'll pull back just a random pug GIF. So there we go. And if I click this, it'll just go out and get a new GIF. And of course, once you get a good GIF of a pug, right, you want to share it.
Well, yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously you want to share that.
What?
Oh my God, this is amazing. And so normally what you would do here.
I don't even know what.
It's a pug, and it's in that costume. You know that thing that Luke Skywalker like.
Oh
he
yeah,
opens it up and sleeps inside of it. I didn't even know what it is. So it's hard to keep a straight face and do this. And so what we want to do is share this. And normally, sharing is difficult because you have to worry about OAuth and implementing different providers, and it's a giant pain. But the social sharing plugin actually makes this ridiculously easy. So I'm going to just go ahead and add that plugin to my app here. So I'm going to Plugins Marketplace, social sharing, grab that, install it. And then once it's installed, there we go. Then we need to know how to use it. So if you click on it here, it says View on GitHub. So I assume you guys can see this GitHub page now.
Yep.
So if you scroll through here, it talks about what you have to do to, there's some screenshots, and then he gets into, here's what you have to do to install it. Now, this is only what you have to do if you're not using the Telerik platform. And there's some XML and, some PTSD gets triggered. But on the Telerik platform, you're already done. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You can go all the way down here to where he already talks about how to use it, right? And all it is this API call right here with what you want to share. And there's examples: message and subject, link. You can even share the image. So let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to jump back over here. I'm going to pull up Sublime Text here for a minute, and let me see here. There we go. I've got my. You have to watch me type. I'm an amazing typer, but I assume nobody wants to sit here and watch me. I'm just going to add another button here that's going to allow us to share, and then I'm going to add this method, the share GIF method, into the controller for this file here, like this. Okay. So at this point, I've actually added the functionality in. I've added a button, and all this button does is say share, and then all it does is fire this method here, share GIF. And you can see that I'm sharing with null, 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 and this .current contains the URL of the GIF that we're currently looking at. So what this should do is allow us to share the URL for the GIF. So let me save this. Now I should note that when you're using plugins, you have to run them on your device in order to actually see them work. Setting up provisioning profiles on iOS is kind of a pain, but once you get it done, you don't have to do it again, and you're good to go. And then you can actually deploy from right from the browser. I'll show you. So I'm going to go ahead and that's the simulator.
The simulator.
Another great pug picture.
Although your GIF luck is impeccable today.
I know, it's just, it could not be better. So I'm going to go ahead and build. I'm going to build an app package here, and then it's going to pick my provisioning profile. I've got a wildcard there, just ad hoc for testing. And then it's going to go out and build and give me a barcode. So while it does that, I'm going to pull up my iPhone here and see if I can get some AirPlay mirroring going. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right. So let me try to resize this. There we go. I have an iPhone 6 Plus, and it's just enormous.
I was gonna say you got the 6 icons going down now.
I do. So I can do this business right here. Oh my gosh!
Holy antenna by your iPhone.
Yeah, it's really big. Yeah. So this is the iPhone 6, and there's my QR code. So I'm just gonna scan it here with the red laser, which is a barcode scanner, and say yes. Yes, I want to install it.
Yeah,
and then it's going to, I know. And then it's going to install it here. You can see it installing on my screen. And actually, the first time you do this, if you've never installed from that URL before, it'll ask you, it'll say like this publisher isn't trusted. And you just sort of click through that. But like I said, once you get this provisioning profile set up, you can deploy to your iOS device like as easy as deploying to an Android device. It's just getting that ad hoc provision set up. And then we have random GIF here. There it is. There's the message. Yeah, so definitely want to trust. It's me. And then here's our GIF.
Awesome.
All right. So let's see. If I got all the code right, I should be able to share this GIF on Twitter. And he stopped moving, it looks like, on the screen. But he's still moving on my screen. You just have to trust me. So I'm going to click share. And then we get this social sharing. And I think AirPlay has actually crashed on me.
Is it just the mirroring that's stopped? Because I saw you move your phone.
Yeah, it's the mirroring has died. Let me see if I can kill this for a second and bring it. Oh, wait, there it went.
There you go.
Just needed a little bit of motivation.
Yeah, sometimes it uses the Wi-Fi network too, so it's probably just competing with Hangouts. Just to get juice.
And then here I can do a lot with this. So I can say I want to share it to Twitter. So I say Twitter, and then you guys don't see the screen coming up here yet, but it doesn't have anything there. So what I'm going to do is go back and just check the documentation real quick and make sure I did that right. Oh, so there it is. So it's actually attaching the picture here, and I guess it's a preview.
Yeah, this is cool because I remember when I first tried to share Twitter, they didn't yet allow animated GIFs.
Yeah.
So now we should be able to go over to Twitter. Let's see here. Yeah, let me turn off this AirPlay is like got a chokehold on my computer. All right, there we go. Man. I should be able to come over here and see what I've shared. All right, there we go. So I've actually shared. I've now shared this GIF on, there it is in all its glory, on Twitter. And of course you can share to Facebook this way. Anything that the iPhone or the Android or the device is capable of sharing to can be done with this one simple plugin. So you can share over email, you can share messages, you can share just to, and people are already, this is probably going to be the most retweeted thing I have all day.
Yeah.
And you can share directly to, like share via Twitter, share via Facebook. You can even do share via and then pass in an app ID, right? So like if it's not showing up in the share drawer, you can select a specific app. So that's the social share plugin. Super powerful and really makes sharing, oh geez.
Star Wars.
And I think it's our most popular one.
Yeah.
So this one, I just find, I mean, Jen, you used it in your app, and I find that I have a use for it just in just about everything.
Yeah,
and
kind of mandatory.
And I think what's cool about this, it's kind of representative of Cordova plugins in general, in that you don't, it's web code, but you're not bringing in like a tweet button or a Facebook like button type thing. It's just getting at the native device functionality. It kind of avoids the need to do that sort of thing. So I think it's pretty cool. It's
very nice.
Pretty easy to use too. So I think I'm next on the list.
Oh, yeah,
so,
native page transitions.
Native page transitions. So I am going to switch this thing over to my screen. So are you seeing me now? You got my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, okay, cool. So what I have here is a very basic Kendo UI mobile app. I kept it purposely simple to kind of show off what this is doing. So by default, I have basically the transitions that Kendo UI ships out of the box. There's something like, oops, my tiny 5 here pales in comparison to Burke's, but I think Kendo UI Mobile has what, like 6, 7 transitions that are baked into it. I mean, something like that. And it's using the slide one because in my app here, I've told it that to use the slide transitions by default. So one of the new plugins that we have available is what's called the Native Page Transitions plugin. And it's kind of self-explanatory by the name, but what it does is that instead of needing to use these JavaScript transitions, you can tie into the transitions that are natively available on the platform. And so Jen and Burke kind of showed the installation process before. I've already went through this for the Native Page Transitions plugin. It's already in this app. The plugin itself has a little API which I can grab here. I have timeout here. So I'm going to toss in a quick call to this. So I have native page transitions.flip. And there's flip and there's .slide, and then we also have a .drawer available for iOS specifically. And this plugin itself is available for Android and Windows Phone. What you can do is pass this thing in href to tell it, basically, when you flip, where do I want to transition to when this flip occurs? And I'm doing this just for demo's sake. I'm just setting a timeout so that 2 seconds after this app starts, basically a flip is going to occur, and I'm going to go to a new page. And so I'll bring my device back up here. That's my command line. So there's my device. What I'm going to do is run through the command line. I can live sync this code changes I'm making over to my device here with the live sync command. So I'm going to run live sync. That's going to transfer this code over to here. And so I'm setting a timeout here so that 2 seconds in, this transition is going to occur. So you should see the flip. Mm-hmm. Hopefully there wasn't enough lag so that you could see that happening. So that is pretty cool, that you can just tie into flipping your screen with one line of code. So what I'm going to do next is take this out. Obviously, it's not very practical to just hard code a single transition in your app. So we now have an adapter for Kendo UI Mobile, and that's what I have referenced here that I'm going to uncomment. So what this adapter does is it says, okay, well, you're using Kendo UI Mobile, so I'm just going to take all the transitions that are in this app already, and I'm going to make them automatically become native transitions if the plugin is available. And so I'm going to uncomment out this script, which is all I have to do. So I'm going to run live sync again. This time I'm going to pass the watch flag because I don't want to keep having to run this every time I make a code change. And this will set up a watcher for this app so that every time I change my code, this will update automatically. So I'll set up this watcher, which will happen here. Head back to my device. So now I'm going to click Settings here, and it's subtle, but this is actually using a native transition on this device. So the performance is going to be really spectacular because it's not running really in JavaScript at all. It's just tying into the native iOS stuff to make this happen. And you can see that like this is my code change, right? I don't have to do anything to my app. Now there are some configurations you can do. So I'm already using slide transitions because of this configuration here. So I could change this to flip to see flip transitions. The other thing I can do is I can configure this on individual links within my project. So I could say like data transition, let me see, transition equals flip, and save that. Now I have the watcher set up, so I back to the command line. My project just refreshes here. Now this time I can go to contacts, and you can see that I get the slide transition. That's because I configured a slide transition globally. But for my settings, now that I have a flip transition, when I go there, I get the flip.
Oh man, that's really nice.
And so it's slick in that like you get this really sane default, right? You just have to include the adapter, and there's no extra work. Whoops, phone's flying all over the place. But then when you want that sort of granularity, you want to say like maybe you had like a little cog icon up here. I think a lot of apps do that, and it'll kind of flip over the screen to show it. You get that configuration or that ability to change up what you see when you need it.
Yeah, and I should note that Kendo UI Mobile doesn't offer that flip transition out of the box because it's virtually impossible to do. And so that native transition allows you to actually take the entire screen and flip it around front to back so that you can work with the back, which is really, really cool. Where do you get that adapter?
Yeah, I should show that. So if you go to here, so this is our verified plugins marketplace again. I can do a search. I'll find native page transitions.
While you're doing this, can you just make sure that you're the primary presenter, because I'm getting some notes from people that they're not able to see your screen?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Hey,
I think I forgot to click the present to everyone button. So
I think I may as well, actually, so I hope that somebody saw some.
yeah, thanks for chatting about that. Hopefully that came through. I can show the transition one more time. But basically, if you search for native page transitions on our plugin marketplace, you'll find the documentation here. And as part of the documentation, and now you can find information on the Kendo UI adapter. There's a link right here to the GitHub repo, which is where the adapter is stored. So you can do that. If you find any issues, that GitHub repo that this links to is also the place where you'd submit any issues that you find. The adapter is still in beta, meaning we're basically still working out the kinks before we're ready to say this is out and officially supported. So if you do find any issues, let us know. But in my testing, it's been pretty solid. It works pretty good. So I definitely encourage everybody to head in and check that out. It's pretty slick.
The transition drawer that you said was for iOS only, what does it look like on Android?
I think it's just straight up not supported. So you could use like the Cordova device API to conditionally do it for iOS only if you wanted the drawer to be native on iOS. The adapter, I should also mention, doesn't currently support drawers as of right now. That's one of the other reasons it's in beta. We're working on adding support for drawers. But you can see that the flip and slide are in the plugin without any additional configuration.
Hey TJ, it says it's still locked on me. Did you select me?
Did I select you? I'm seeing that it's telling me I'm screen sharing and presenting to everyone.
Yeah, Hangouts is weird. Like if you're the one that is presenting and you select somebody else, it will actually show that person instead. I don't know. I'm so confused.
It's really weird. Maybe I clicked you, but that's all I wanted to cover. Did anybody have any other questions about this plugin? I can probably stop screen sharing, actually.
I hope that some of what we just demoed are visible to other folks.
I think it was, because Hangouts is pretty smart to show the person who's talking. So throughout the demo, I think that we got most of it, if not all of it. So hopefully. I guess we'll see. So I think next, why don't we do one more? Jen, do you want to talk about the barcode scanner quickly, and then we'll see if we have any other questions?
No, I'm scared. I'll see if I can manage to do this properly.
Yeah.
So I have a little app which I call Bottle, B-O-T-L, because that's how we roll. And it basically takes a barcode scan of a wine bottle, and I haven't built it fully out yet, but it would take what's scanned in the barcode, get the number, compare it against an API, and get some information about your bottle of wine. I've done this for library books. You can hook over to a library API. And, okay. Let me see if I can. I'll share my screen.
So the barcode scanner, that's for like products, and you can also do QR codes, right? I think I've been meaning to play with that.
Yes.
Like if you wanted to read a URL or whatever from a QR code.
I'm going to just AirPlay. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, QR codes and barcodes QR codes especially, it's one of those things where it's completely useless until you actually need it.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. I'm always wishing I had one when I'm like working in JSBen or something, and then I want to test that URL on my device. I want to look at it on my phone.
Yeah, I think.
And then I have to type it in. I have to thumb it all in. I'm like, what a pain in the butt that is.
Doesn't CodePen do that? I thought CodePen offered that as a feature.
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably a Chrome extension too that turns any URL into a QR code. But.
Yep.
So can you see this this little app that I have lifted up here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm very gun shy at this point. So I'm just going to click on Scan a Wine bottles barcode, and I have this like super classy, like half-empty bottle of Cassie's because I'm really, really low on alcohol right now. This is not a good thing. I'm gonna try to. Oh, and people are saying that they're just seeing Burke. Oh, this is bad.
What's so bad? I don't understand what's so bad about just seeing me.
Sorry, I screwed that up. Okay, let's try this again. So here we go.
I wonder why people can only see me. That's so weird.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that you're presenting to everyone on my screen. So
yeah, that's what it says to me too.
And I'm not.
Just keep going.
It's too curved.
It was working this morning. It's the curse of the demo. I know this is going to happen.
It's the demo gremlins. Well, it's probably because the wine is just so cheap. It's just not. It's like, no. I'm not looking that up for you. Put that in the garbage and grab a bottle of Barefoot.
That'd be a good feature for that app. Just condescending messages to send you based off your wine choices.
Yeah, based off that QR code, I would say go get a box of Franzia.
Yeah, get it, people. We're not getting no barcode for you.
Totally denied. That's hilarious.
So,
refuses to scan it. We got a barcode.
It came back, see?
No, we did not because I canceled it. But the plugin is smart enough to tell me that that it was canceled and we did not get a barcode and tough patooties for you.
Oh.
But you
put a sample app together and everything.
I know, and I can totally use social share and tell about this awful bottle of wine.
I found a great bottle of wine.
So what do you do when so the product comes back and then what information do you get from the bottle then? Is it just a number that you have to look up or?
Yeah, so it'll tell me the it'll basically read this number 87236 blah blah blah, and it'll tell me also the format of the barcode. There are types of barcodes. Some are like have more data, some have less data, and the plugin comes back with this information called format, so it'll tell you what it is, if that makes a difference to you.
Yeah, and then so what do you do with it from there? Like how could from those data points, how do you get to?
I need an API that tells me something about products. But if I go to a book, for example, here, let's see if I can grab a barcode here. Come on. Ay. Here.
Scan us a barcode. Come on, barcodes.
Barcodes.
Don't let us down.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, if I could get a book barcode, it would tell me what is in a book barcode is the ISBN number. So it's like, then I was able to hook up to Library of Congress API and get information about the book from the ISBN.
Okay.
Wherever you can find a data point to match, that would be useful. I was going to try it for like canned goods or something for the food pantry app that I'm working on. I don't know. I think there's a lot you can do with this, and it's very good fun, and it's easy. Just take a look at what it looks like on plugins. It's a very simple integration.
I think one of the first places where I ever saw barcodes used, and this is where Red Laser got real famous, was like if you're in the store and you're looking at something like you want to buy something, you can scan the barcode on that item and it will do comparative shopping for you immediately.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Here's how much this item costs at Target, here's how much it is at Walmart, which is really neat. And I use that infrequently, but when I do use it, it's really great, especially if I'm like on the fence and I'm like, I don't know if this is a good deal or not.
Definitely. Like Retail Me Not, that app, I think it has this sort of barcode scanning. You just need a nice API to integrate to, and then you'll be all set.
Yep, it's really nice.
Go
ahead, TJ.
So I have one other question here, and it's about push notifications. So Alper, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, wants to know if there are examples, or basically examples of testing push notifications in AppBuilder.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
There are examples. In fact, I wrote an article some time back about how to set up and test push notifications on your own device. And of course, Alper is referring to the Telerik backend services, which allows you to push to multiple platforms at one time. And so there's an API for the Telerik backend services where you register your device when the application is installed, and then you can send push notifications to that device. Push notifications That is a plugin that we include. Is it not, TJ? Like out of the box, it's in there. You just need to go enable it.
Yeah, you have to go and enable it. When Jen was showing that list, it's one towards the bottom that it's not in by default, but you can go enable it.
You have to enable it, and then of course you have to get the app on your device in order to get a push notifications are extremely device specific.
Yeah.
But then once your device is registered with backend services, you'll actually be able to see the device, the version of the device, the ID number of the device, and then you can do push notifications, which is usually how you test. Unfortunately, push notifications is one of those things where you have to be on the device. It's very specific to the device. It's the only way to test.
And you also need to provision your device carefully. You're going to need to enable push.
Yes, if you're doing iOS. If you're doing Android or even Windows Phone, it's actually a whole lot easier than that. All you need is an API key and a registered, and then the device needs to register with your backend service, and you can send a push notification. If you're testing on iOS, you do need a special certificate that is from the certificate center that allows push notifications. It has to be a development type certificate, but we do have all of this documented. And again, on iOS, it's one of those things where you get it set up, and then you say, "I'm glad that's over," and then you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, and I'm showing the docs here, and this is usually where I recommend people go to get started. I think our docs are pretty good in terms of backend services and introducing what they are, and there's some information on like device registration, what Burke and Jen were just talking about. And so if you head to docs.telerik.com/platform, you'll find the backend services there. You can just do a search. There's a little search box here. If you search for push notifications, you'll find this stuff. And I'd recommend just reading through this. It's probably your best bet for getting started.
Agreed?
Well, maybe we could do a special broadcast just on push, like local notification versus push, versus some of the new hot stuff that we can do. Maybe that would be of interest. Let us know if you want us to talk about that, because that's good stuff.
Yeah, push. It's a topic in and of itself. You could talk for hours about it. So, yep.
Yeah, that's really, and there's also the Toast plugin, which allows for in-app notification, like on the device, which is another way to local notifications, if you wish, another way to do notifications. So, tons more plugins. We could do shows after show after show on plugins, but I think we're about out of time. And if people have been staring at me for 50 minutes, then they're probably, if not, really wanting this to be over.
Yikes. Well.
Yeah, as Jen said, if you have any other things you want us to talk about, feel free to just comment on the Google Plus page, reach out to us. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask those as well. We'll be having another of these events in December, so feel free to show back up with any questions you have. Reach out to us at any time. So.
Oh, in December we have a giveaway for December, don't we?
We do. We have acquired. Should we keep it mysterious, or should we?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we should tell people.
No, oh man.
Yeah, it is a piece of tech. So.
Yes. We have a gadget that we are giving away in December, so stay tuned.
Very nice.
All right.
All right. Well,
thanks
everybody for coming to Office Hours, and we'll see you again in December. And until then, check out the plugins and
happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving, and those of you who aren't, happy. All right. And with that, we're out. See ya.
All right. Bye.